What's up, guys? Christian Duke, StrengthAddicts.com here at the Baltimore Classic Championships with Jerry Ward. Jerry, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome. Now, we did an interview last time. Of course, I forgot my camera. It was like a whole rigmarole. It was crazy. How are you in the meeting? You forget your camera. Anyways, so you judged today, saw a lot of physiques. What were your impressions?
Well, everybody came in pretty good condition. You always have a few people that stand out, But overall, I mean, it's a pro-am thing, so you get to see, anywhere from somebody's first show up to people that are actually getting qualified for nationals, which is in a couple of weeks, right up to the pros. So you get like everybody from the beginning to the top pros, which I think is it's pretty awesome.
Awesome. Now, a lot of people want to know, what the hell is in those bars that you eat on your Instagram lives all the time?
So it's the brick bar. You can only get them at my gym. The guy that makes them, his name is Eric, and he actually won the North Americans in 1986.
Okay.
And what he did was, he said that he was so focused on his training, so he didn't have to make food. He would actually make what's in those bars in a big ball. He'd wrap it in foil. So all of his calories for the day were in that ball. Okay. So what he'd do is just take the ball and take a few bites out of it and put it back in his bag. So after he won, everybody wanted the ball. They were like, oh, we want that. We want that. And he was like, well, I don't really make it. It's just for me.
Right.
And then when he was done, he retired. He was like, I'm not going to make 3,000 calorie balls. He's like, nobody's going to eat them. So he started making what he calls the bricks. And it's just one piece of that bar, of that ball, that has, I think it's 300 calories in it. But it's basically a meal replacement with oatmeal, peanut butter, egg protein in it. He might have whey protein in some of them. But it's very natural compared to a lot of stuff that's out of there.
Which is interesting because a lot of the bars, unfortunately, on the market have a lot of crap in them, stuff you can't pronounce. So talk to us about your supplement line. I mean, obviously, it flies off the shelves. Talk to us about the various products you have, and what might be in store in the future.
Well, we just launched the pre-workout called Premazine, and we launched it Wednesday night because I had trouble with my web guy getting it on the website. Once we got it on the website, we launched it Wednesday night at about 9:30 p.m. By 11:30, we were 1/3 of the way through all the stock already. So that's only 2 hours. I mean, we dropped a fat burner called BMR4, which the first time it sold out 7 days. Second time was 5 days. The third time was 4 days we sold out. And the problem is, once you sell out, it takes manufacturing a little while to get it back to you. So there's these 4-week spans where, we're out of product. But a few stores have them in. We ship worldwide from the UK now. So there's other places to get it besides me that have stuff in stock when we sell out. I think right now we have, the post-workout, which not a lot of people do, which I think is super important for muscle gains that people overlook. We have the fat burner, we have the essential amino acid formula, and now the pre-workout. So we have the lineup right now, the basic lineup that I think right now could literally compete with anybody on the market. Now, the idea from here is to branch out flavors.
Right.
So we only have one flavor of each thing so far because, I don't know if you guys know this, but stocking one flavor is ridiculous when you have 4 products. There's tons of product all over the place. Right. So now it's if you have more and more products, some people don't like the ones you already have because of the flavors. So we want to branch out and make sure that we have flavors that everybody likes for the first 4 products before we start branching out into other things.
Right. Now, I wanted to do a short interview, but, I have them here, so, yeah. And I think, being a small business owner, actually on the verge of becoming a large business owner, I think a lot of people say, Jerry, get this flavor, get that flavor, but then you're stuck with pallets that don't sell. So you have to really, study your market before you just go out and invest. Because honestly, a lot of these raws, you can't just order small amounts. They want large orders, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're looking at anywhere from 300 minimum up to 5,000 units per order. So what I do is kind of look at the market and I say, well, luckily I have friends in the other companies in the market right now, and I'll be like, what's your best selling flavor? What do people like? I'll just ask them straight out, and they'll say, let's say, for instance, tea. They have a sweet tea flavor. Right. Well, I have an amino acid formula, essential amino acid formula that's sweet tea flavored, but ours will be called Virginia sweet tea because I live in Virginia. Right. We have another one that's a raspberry lemonade. We'll call it Raspbrady lemonade because my dog's name is Brady. So everything in the product, it's very personal to me. If you hold that product in your hand, you can bet that not only is there something on the label that's personal to me, but I actually use it, have been using it, formulated it myself, take it myself, tested it myself. Whereas opposed to a lot of these bigger companies, they have CEOs that'll have someone formulate it for them. They may not have even taken it or take it regularly. Right. If you take this product, not only am I using it, my clients using it, my followers using it, but literally it came from my imagination. Well, I work with a chemist too. Right. It came from my imagination, but when I finally get it in my hand, it went from a thought to the creation of a thing in my hand. And everything about it, down to the label, down to the names of it, down to the flavoring, called Wicked Watermelon is one of the flavors. Well, I'm from Rhode Island, I say Wicked Good, Wicked Easy.
Wicked.
It literally has, everything is so personal to me, and that's why I take everything with this company is so personal.
Awesome. So we talked about the show. We talked about the company. We got 2 more chapters to talk about in this interview here. Now, in the fitness industry, there's like a lot of drama sometimes, negativity. And one of the things that you always talk about on your lives is the sneaker world and how there isn't really a lot of that. It's all positivity. And people will actually stop you at malls and ask you, hey, what are those shoes? And like a conversation will start just based off of that. So talk a little bit about that other side of Jerry Ward.
Yeah, I actually started getting into sneakers in like 2009 or 10. And then some of the mainstream ones that like Adidas is making and stuff like that now, I started wondering why they were so expensive, why people really cared about them. And when I started becoming a collector, now I noticed that, they have these sneaker cons all over the world. So like Comic-Con, it's for sneakers. Right. And you go to these things and there's 10, 20, 30, 40,000 people a day going to these things. And nobody cares how tall you are, how short you are, what race you are, how fat you are. Right. They don't care if you eat hot dogs. They don't care if you have 5 kids, no kids, if you're married, if you're gay, nothing matters except the sneakers. Like you all come there for the love of sneakers, and I noticed that there is no drama whatsoever in that whole thing. So now I kind of like, it's not just fun. It's like you meet people and they wind up being followers of yours too. Right. So for instance, there's a huge sneaker reseller. He gets like early sneakers. I didn't know that he actually watches my stuff. Cool. So he had actually hit me up. He's like, I'm into working out and stuff. And I realized who he was. So I hooked him up with some programs and stuff. He hooks me up with sneakers. So it's like you wind up having followers that cross over into fitness. Right. Because like Jordan brand and the sweatsuits everybody wears, that's in the sneakerhead type stuff. So it's like the bodybuilders are wearing that. So it actually does cross over. And you notice when it crosses over from the bodybuilding, even the bodybuilders that are talking to you about sneakers, again, there's no drama. It seems to be, even though there's drama in the fitness industry, it doesn't follow you into the sneaker.
And that's actually great too, the cross marketing, because the fitness industry, there's more and more people coming to the table, but the pie's not getting any bigger. So it's good to be able to market to different segments, I think, as well. Okay, so we did contest, we did company, we did sneakers. Now I'm gonna ask you bodybuilding. Phil Heath, taking 2019 off, coming back in 2020, at least that's, more or less what's being said. Flex Lewis retires, 7-time 212 champion. Word out is he might take 2019 also to grow whatever and come back. Do you think we'll see either one back on stage? And that's pretty vague, but.
Well, Phil's been a close friend of mine for years now, and I have spoken to him, and I do think, honestly, that he'll be back. I really do. I think he could easily win 9 if he does whatever the judges want him to do. If he does that, I honestly feel like he can win 8 and 9. I really do. As far as Flex Lewis, there's talk of him going into the open division. Now, here's the thing. Flex Lewis is a 7-time, I believe, 212 champion. Yes. So you're the best. So you go from that 212 division to the open, which he's going to be competing against guys like Rami's size. Right. So to not get lost, he has to gain weight. Now, here's the thing. His size and structure, putting more muscle on at his age, he was really close friends with Dallas McCarver. Dallas McCarver was a very young guy when he passed away. And, people can speculate all, but being very, very heavy like that puts pressure on your heart, your kidneys, your liver. Everything in your body is not meant to work that hard. So Flex being where he's at, seeing Dallas pass away, having, his child, his family, and he talks about them a lot, and he brings them up on stage with him. I don't know why he would try to push his body weight up like that and possibly risk something happening health-wise, after he's already been a 7-time 212 Mr. Olympia. Like, it doesn't make any sense. He's the best. He's going down in history as like the longest reigning. People are going to be chasing his titles just like they chase Ronnie's. Right. Like, why would you, at his age, which he's not old, but
no, definitely not. But yeah,
but you've been around for a while. You're already really big. If you've gotten away this long with pushing your body that hard and not had complications, why chance it? If he was like a single guy, he was like 25, I'd be like, I could totally understand that. But the family thing to me, I can just imagine what, because Rich Piano was a close friend of mine too. When he passed away, he hit me hard. I could just imagine like Rich's family, Dallas's family. I would never want my family to go through something.
Wait 1 second. Rich Piano was actually your close friend, because a lot of people out there are saying, "Oh, Rich Piano's my best friend. He used to call me all the time, yada yada yada," and that's not true.
Yeah, I don't understand where they all came from. I think they wanted their 5 minutes of fame or 15 minutes, whatever it's called, 15 minutes of fame or whatever. Yeah. But Rich and I we weren't best friends. Like, I say it like this: there's people that have known him longer. There's people that he probably was closer to. but he'll never have a more loyal friend than I was. I'm loyal to a fault because of the stuff that he did for me that he didn't have to do. But again, Chanel I'm still close with, and seeing how it affected her and, Jane, his ex-wife, and the other people that were really with him all the time, if I had the choice, it's like you can either push your body, this may happen and affect everyone around you that you care about, or do what you already did, and like Rich had already built an empire, Flex Willis has already built an empire. What's the point? Like, how far do you want to go? Right. How many times can you, stick your hand in the fire without actually getting burned, so.
Exactly. Just 2 more quick questions on this topic. Now, I love Sean Roden. I've been predicting Sean Roden for years. Ron Harris and I go back and forth with that. As much as I love Sean, I think it's safe to say that Sean is beatable. He's a great bodybuilder, and I know he's going to defend that title in 2019 like crazy, but he is beatable. Now, in my interviews, I don't get the hits that Jerry gets, like, not at all, but my interviews do make the rounds with, like, certain people. If Kai Greene somehow sees this interview, do you, as Jerry Ward, what would you advise Kai? Because the door is rather wide open. We know Phil, and I'm not saying that Kai can't beat Phil, but we know Phil is not doing 2019. Should Kai Greene come back?
Well, if he wants that Olympia title to say I have the title, well, yeah, but here's the thing. Kai was banging heads with Phil for quite a while. Mm-hmm. So if he comes back now, his legacy, nobody's going to look at Kai right now and say anything bad about his legacy right now. If he comes back and wins, there's going to be always that, well, he didn't beat Phil. He lost to Phil every time. If Phil was there, he wouldn't have won, right? And now, I don't care who you are, it doesn't matter how strong you are mentally. When that stuff on social media keeps getting jammed on you over and over again, it gets under your skin and it gets you. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, Kai's doing great. I watched him in Stranger Things. Mm-hmm. He's doing like stuff on ESPN. I saw like he had these like little action figures made and stuff.
Yeah,
and he's doing such cool stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you take a year out of your life to go grab that title and put more stress on your body and go through all that again when you already have this whole other life you've set up? It almost looks like Kai's kind of moved forward.
Right.
But here's the problem. Like many of these pros, and like if you ask Kevin Levrone, Sean Ray, anybody who didn't win the Olympia, that's why Kevin came back.
Right.
That's why Flex came back. They didn't win the Olympia, so it kind of sits there forever with them as, but here's the thing. No matter who they beat, they wouldn't have beat Dorian. And Dorian was the guy they were trying to beat. So it's like you've kind of shifted into a whole new kind of dimension of what's going on.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. Like you're trying to bang heads with guys that, you may or may not beat when you were literally going after, like, Jay went after Ronnie over and over and over until he won. You know what I mean? But like you said, Phil's beatable now. We've seen that. Sean's beatable. Everybody's beatable. I mean, Ronnie lost. Jay lost. I mean, everybody has lost at some point. Well, Dorian didn't. He retired. Right. But had Dorian come back again, I believe he would have lost to Ronnie Coleman too. He would have be able to beat Ronnie then. So everybody's beatable. But for Kai to come back now, I mean, is it possible? Absolutely. But it's also possible that someone like Rulli or some guy we don't even know yet shows up and Kai doesn't win for some reason and he's second again for whatever reason it is. And I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but there's always a possibility someone out there is better. We just haven't seen him yet.
And there's a risk also that if he comes back, he's not second, he might be third or fourth, and then that may take a hit on his legacy also.
More, yeah, but also let's look at it this way. Kai's been fairly healthy through all of his preps, right? I mean, he went to the hospital in Prague for something one time, but let's say he comes back and he tears a pec, or he comes back and he tears a rotator cuff, and he's out. Mm-hmm. He can't do a movie. Like, there's always that chance that at his age, the body's not as pliable as it once was. He gets a really bad injury. Like, for instance, The Rock hasn't been back in a wrestling ring. When he wrestled John Cena, he tore his adductor and his abdominal muscle. That put the Hercules movie on hold for like 6 months. They lost like $5 million waiting for him to heal. Right. So you're probably not going to see him do that again, Yeah. So Kai's in the same position. He's kind of moved on. He's doing his thing. He comes back and gets one major injury, and it throws a monkey wrench in everything he's been working for since he left the stage. So.
Right, and there are some players. Dexter Jackson, I would not overlook Dexter Jackson. Brandon Curry's looking great. Last question, and this is it. Big Ramy. I mean, kind of a letdown. I mean, do you think that and he's had Chris Aceto. He's been at the Camel Crew. He's worked with a few coaches. There was a rumor that he was working with Hani, but I don't think that materialized.
Hani approached him. Hani approached him like right after the Olympia. There's also been talk about Chris Aceto again. Ramy, I felt so bad. So Ramy, I've met him several times. I don't know him.
He's the nicest guy.
He's the nicest guy. There was a language barrier the first couple times I met him. He didn't really speak English. But what I like about Rami is he smiles all the time because he's just happy to be bodybuilding. Like he's like, I'm a bodybuilder. Like he would say that. Like it's all he could say in English was, I'm a bodybuilder. And I was like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But he's just so happy and so excited to do that it's like a pure love for what he's doing, you know? So after he didn't place well, he put up a post on Instagram apologizing and saying, please don't hate me. I know you guys hate me. Like I actually felt really bad when I read it because even if he plays dead last and looked like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, everybody still loves Rami. It's not going to change his fans, right? Yeah. But all year long, all I heard was Rami's going to take it this year. Rami's going to be the one to beat Phil. Rami. And then when he falls, everybody just shuts up. You know, it almost seems like they didn't even support him after he failed. They all just walked away from, yay, Sean. You know what I mean? So Rami, I mean, he's got an amazing physique, I think, personally. I think that he hasn't dialed it in yet. I think he comes in way too big. You know, he was over 300 pounds. If he came in at 275 or 270,
oh, totally, yeah.
It would have been a night and day difference, you know, but they want him to be big. The Camel crew wanted him to be big, I guess, and, you know, it just didn't work out this time. But, you know, I've also heard that he left and went back to Egypt, and now he's doing fishing on his family's boats. So if he's doing fishing, and that's where he was, that was his first thought when the Olympia was done. Wasn't like I'm going to revamp and I'll be back. It was like I'm going home. Right. I'm going fishing. So I took that as he's going to take a break, just kind of back out, take a break, and then eventually I think what we'll see is him kind of make an announcement like, well, somebody make an announcement. I'm working with Rami. Rami's training with me or whatever. We'll see something like that, and then we'll know what's going on. But I think it was one of those things where there's a lot of pressure on Rami. People wanted him to beat Phil. And, when it didn't happen, I think you feel like he let the entire world down, which is not really what happened. Like, things happen,
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me on.
Awesome. And your social media, your website, BioS3, Instagram, GIFD Labs, everything.
Yeah, everything is under, if you look up Jerry Ward on Google, I'll pop up immediately. GIFD Labs, I'll pop up. But my Instagram is Jerry Wayne Ward. I use my middle name now. It's Jerry Wayne Ward. GIFDlabs.com, bios3training.com. It's all the same stuff. It's been there all along. So.
Awesome. And when the supplements come out, buy them because they fly off the shelves. For Jerry Ward, Christian Duke, strengthaddicts.com.